Welcome back to the Brew Crew podcast, everyone. This is episode 220. I don't know if you can see Matt, but I can't see Matt, but we are together.
We are.
Virtually. Can you see me?
I can definitely see you.
Well, that's all that matters then. That'll all be good. So welcome back, everyone. I had to start the episode, obviously. Well, of course, not obviously, but of course I have to start the episode by apologizing for last week's episode. I had it all lined up. I had a guest. None of this is on Matt. I had a guest lined up. That fell through. Then I was going to do an episode with Caterade on Monday night, just a last-minute ad hoc 220 episode. And then I got sick, so that was not happening. And so then as the week progressed, like Monday's it, and as the week goes on, as it gets closer to Friday, we get less and less likely that we have time to do an episode. It just never got put together. So that's on me. And now I realize the weight of this show to some people, and I will make an effort when I need to make sure that something is posted on Monday, so you have something to listen to on Tuesday when you drive to work. That's
much like terrible beer, shit happens.
Shit happens. It sure does. But that's out of the way now. So I apologize if you want to inquire about why there's no episode, please inquire to me, at least until, I don't know, June or July. Maybe later. Just inquire to me forever. Facebook is probably the way you can do it.
It's something that we've prided ourselves. That's we've established credibility with you. The Chuggalo is something that we want to make this weekly and episodic, and we've moved mountains to make it happen, but sometimes shit just happens.
Hey, we've missed very few.
Very few in 5 years. And, there was gaps during that first time that I was gone on a trip or whatever. There was gaps.
Yeah, there was some gaps.
But outside of that, it's been fairly episodic. And I know we're in the high 40s, if not 50 to 51 of the long form episodes. You start throwing in our shorts and like Christmas, which is you have 5 or 6 episodes a day that are coming during the holiday season.
Very good point.
So believe me, we're giving it to you. But there's one thing I want to talk about. JT, what's the big beer drinking holiday / event that's happening this week?
This week?
This week. We're in the midst of it.
Geez, this week? Super Bowl, I guess.
Super Bowl, and JT nailed it right on the head, and that's without any pre-production. So I just want to start sharing something for everyone, all the Chuggalos. Look at this. So we've talked about over the years, 5 years of doing this podcast, we've talked about beer and food and just like the weirdest combination. It happened. Hormel paired with Modest, which is a brewery local to the Minneapolis area. They made a chili cheese dip beer. And unfortunately, I got this story from Chuggalo Ryan, I believe. This came out on the 24th of January. I had been looking for it. I had made inquiries. I'd had other people looking for it for me. And unfortunately, it's completely sold out.
Oh, it always is.
So I don't know if I can go to their page where you can find out more at HormelChiliCheeseBrew.com. Is that opening up, JT? Is it opening up a new window?
It is opening up.
Womp womp. Look at even the fine people of Hormel, which is based out of Austin, Minnesota. We're fresh out. But they give you a suggestion. If you take a chip dip and then a beer sip, it's almost like drinking the beer. Well, almost. And then they're like offering to buy chili.
Damn. If the fine folks at Hormel or Modest are fans of the show, please, we'll split it. It'll be interesting. Do you have a chili cheese dip that you have memorized? A recipe?
Yeah, so that's one of the things. So besides my little shits, as it's colloquially known in my group of friends, the second most thing that people request from me is my queso, which the backbone of it, I'll say it's Velveeta, but the backbone is always Hormel chili. I won't substitute with anything else. I'm a big Hormel chili fan. It's like Campbell's soup. There might be other better chilies out there, but you're going to get that consistently delivered goodness, like chicken noodle soup, Campbell's. I put it in the same echelon that it's It's the safe place to be. It's good. It's satisfying every time. And
Definitely.
I, of course, have to have it with beans.
Yeah, you gotta have beans. That's a fair argument. We typically Caterade will make one with she'll cook the beef and the beans.
Yep.
We won't buy a chili. We'll make the chili, put it in there. But there are obviously lazy times that we have. Just put the chili in.
Always.
You know. How do you spice it up? Because you're a man of many spices.
Yeah, so jalapenos, onions. I grab typically a hot sauce from my hot sauce cupboard. So it's always Velveeta, 2 cans of Hormel chili, a can or 2 of chopped jalapenos, a whole onion, and then from there the spices differ depending on who the customer base is. If my wife's involved, this is probably the spiciest that she will go is with my spicy queso dip. If she's not involved, I'm going to amp it up even more so after that.
Okay. Yeah, we definitely do the jalapenos. And I like to start the hot sauce. We always have to have hot sauce. We start with the vinegar-based hot sauce, like Berman's, which is an Aldi brand hot sauce. It's really good for putting on like chilies and stuff like that. And then we'll have one for flavor. But you have so many hot sauces that you can kind of customize each one, which is nice.
Yeah, it again, it always depends who's in the audience for it. But I do have a second story, but I want to crack my first beer because I am getting parched. It's going to be a Central Waters Cassian Sunset, and it's their Brewer's Reserve line, and this is a stout aged in used oak bourbon barrels, which is an important delineation, with coffee, vanilla beans, and cinnamon added, and it's a 11.7%. Central Waters.
I'm going to start with, this was a tough decision on which one to start with, but I'm going to start with Sycamore Hop Gummies.
I swear, I might have had that one. I'll have to check.
I got this at Hall's.
I'll have to check. Then I know I've seen it. Okay.
Yeah, it's 7.7. Very clever writing on it, which is why I bought it, because we've been tricked by the gummy IPA before.
Maybe that's what it is. Okay.
I'm hoping that we aren't tricked by this one. This is an IPA. It's 7.7%, and it is a gummy bear IPA. So
Easy E providing a tasty brew. Eric. Okay, so I know. I just had this a couple weeks ago. Sometimes I trick myself on when I check into beers, but yep, I just had it a couple weeks ago. That's why it was in my vernacular. The second story, while JT and I ruminate on these beers, is during my travels. I just want to make sure I'm on the right page. I'm a sucker for a lot of things. I'm a sucker for anything Deftones, and Deftones has their own beer sponsored by Belching Beaver, and they have a lot of them. I saw this out in the wild. This was a assorted 8-pack, 2 each, 16-ounce pint cans of Ohms, their a pale ale, their Mexican style lager, which was Dia de los Deftones, the Hazy Phantom Pride, Hazy IPA, and then Good Morning Beautiful, the brown ale, coconut coffee. It wasn't this ridiculous price. I saw it out in the wild for $17. $17 for 8 pint cans is ridiculous at any price. Like that's a good deal. That's under what? That's under $8, just over $8 for a 4-pack for craft beer. And so don't look at Craft Shack. This is just where I happen to find it. Maybe because it was going out of SKU because it was the fall 2020, and there was only 2 of them left on the shelf. All of these, and maybe my rose-colored glasses, all of these were absolute bangers. Even Chuggalos, the brown ale with the coconut coffee. It's the best brown ale I've ever had.
Wow.
Again, I could be the coconut, which I should say doesn't belong in any fucking beer. Get rid of it. Paired so well with that coffee and maple syrup. There wasn't off-putting in the least. The home run beer was Ohms, a pale ale that had the hints of grapefruit. But the second best beer by far was that brown ale coconut coffee. It was incredible. I just happened to see this out in the wild. I had a real shit week last week. So I bequeathed a lot of these to, people I was with that were also having a shit week. But I was just super excited to see that out in the wild. Again, it just made my week. I think I packed the 12-pack with me. I'll have to go through all my luggage and make sure, just because the artwork, it's not as good as the Dusty Rhodes Crimson Mask artwork, which I still have, which I can see from my recording studio right now. But I was just super, super excited to have that because, again, I can't find those Belching Beaver beers. I've had a couple more of them that were shipped to me, that were gifts, but it was nice to see that out in the wild.
Yeah, that's interesting. Deftones has been really top of mind lately because apparently people are back, or young people are back into the Deftones. So,
yep,
the thing. I just been watching some music video, not music videos, but videos about music. Music reviewers and such, and they've been talking about this new TikTok trend of people being into the Deftones.
Do you think TikTok has staying power? Is it here to stay? Is it going to be slowly phased out just as, guidance and everything changes and that sort of thing?
I don't know. It's hard to tell. Just based on people are into it, they're making money on it. It's like a whole subculture of people that like. It was hard to imagine that we would grow and be out of touch like we accuse our parents and grandparents of being when we were teenagers and stuff. But like it was so easy to not know what the fuck's going on with TikTok. One, neither of us have it. I don't even allow it in my house on my network with my kids and stuff. And maybe if I see a TikTok video, it's because someone reposted it on YouTube. I feel like at some point it will be banned because China bans our apps. They ban Twitter and Facebook and Google and stuff like that because they know that we'll use it to spy on them.
Right.
So if they're using it to spy on us, all we need is just like a stronger contingency of politicians who understand technology. I think right now there's too many old geezers and they just don't care enough, or they're, in the pockets of the Chinese. Eventually, I think it will get banned, and maybe that will cause an uproar. But I don't know. Everyone's got these short video clips now. YouTube has YouTube Shorts. Twitter is bringing back Vine. Facebook has their little thing, which, by the way, Facebook's little short videos are fucking stupid. They're all garbage. I don't care who's doing them. Almost, I'd say good 50% of them are just fake. Like it's just somebody playing a joke on you. I don't know. TikTok, I don't know. I think as people get older and realize that this shit's corny as hell, they're gonna just fall off.
One thing before I want to get to that, JT and I want to congratulate officially Jason and the team at Crooked Handle for opening their Piqua location. That's a little central to Southwest Ohio. But as one of the biggest supporters, one of the first places we went to, Crooked Handle, congratulations on behalf of the Chuggalos. That's awesome. Seeing the pictures from the opening and everything, like that's going to be like everything else you guys put out. It's going to be fucking bonkers. In regards to back to the TikTok sensation or whatever, it's interesting because you and Chuggalo Stev did a proof in concept with that when you guys did shorts during the advent calendar, and that video just went. It's triple or quadruple anything in that same time frame. Like in 24 hours, you guys were triple digits. That quadrupled anything else that was put out in the same time frame, a 24-hour window. Anything else that we put out during the entire advent calendar.
Yeah, being able to use video posts in a feed format is, that's what made Instagram so popular. I think it's working for these view counts. Is a 1 minute video beer review memorable? I'm not sure. I don't think so. Personally, I think people take to these reviews because we talk about the can, we talk about the beer, the brewer, all this other stuff. If I throw a 1 minute beer review together, you're going to be like, oh, interesting. Okay, next. And you're already going into the next video. I don't know.
how much of that sticks with you? You're the
Is it even worth
power.
it for the brewer? Probably not.
Yeah.
It's cool to have all those views though, for sure.
It's definitely, there's conversation there and like, beer top, because again, I think we're on the older side of like that TikTok fan base, but they wouldn't target it if it didn't have staying power. There's, a bunch of influencers or whatever that, they cut their teeth on TikTok and then expanded into other mediums.
Yeah,
so.
That's true. I mean, one of the biggest reason why I lose my interest in Instagram, because I try every once in a while, I'll return and be like, okay, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to get back into it. I'm going to figure it out and maybe just use it for the podcast, but at least go read through it. There's like nothing valuable in Instagram. Nothing. Not a single video is at this point in my life valuable to me in any way. It's just time killer. And then I close the app because I'm like, I don't really care about any of this stuff. So
we'd have to get like Chuggalos Stev's perspective, because I'm gonna guess that Chuggalos Stev is probably our youngest viewer. Mm-hmm. And then we have other viewers or other Chuggalos, if you will, that are double his age, that I'm saying like are consistent and are like loyal viewers, loyal Chuggalos. It'd be interesting, like if we ever develop like a market survey, market research, like how would you ingest, the variety of answers, even in our smaller sub base than these bigger, far bigger enterprises than the BCP.
Yeah. Now, if you consume Instagram and TikTok in the beer world, I will say that on the Brew Crew's Instagram, I've gone and followed a bunch of beer people, breweries, influencers, whatever. Now, if you are one of the breweries that are paying these influencers to drink your beer, I'm going to just be straight with you. You shouldn't do that, because I don't remember a single beer. They're all like hot women that are way younger than I am, way out of any league I'd ever be in. And that's intentional. I get that.
Yeah.
But what's the beer? I don't fucking know. What does it matter? Does that girl even drink the beer? Who knows? But if you go through like the people I followed, they're all just like novelty influencers. They could be anybody. I don't know their name. I don't know their handle. It doesn't matter. Like, honestly, that's the thing about Instagram, is like it's so watered down. At some point, like I don't remember if this was Joe Rogan or whoever, and I don't want to rehash his talking points, but like the novelty of porn pre-internet was that there wasn't a lot of it. It was hard to access. There was a lot of it, but it was hard to access. But now it's like this watered down thing that who knows what, like teenagers, maybe that's where a lot of I don't know, this isn't a podcast about society, but young men aren't dating as often. Young men are less likely to exercise. And that could be a number of things, but it also could just be like, they're fine. They've got what they think they need all right there on their phones. Who knows? But that's the same, I don't know, Instagram, TikTok. If you're paying for somebody to just show a beer in a picture and show some cleavage, I would personally save your money. Save your money for some hops. And if you have an opinion about it, hit us up. Leave a comment below, or go to our Twitter or Facebook page and put a comment there. Share your favorite Instagram beer influencer. If it's somebody we follow.
Or somebody we've heard of.
Or, heard of, All right.
So, Central Waters. I've got a lot to say. We've had them before on the podcast. We haven't done anything about their website. So I want to make it really concise, because this is for Chuggalos from the Wisconsin area. You're going to appreciate, or we could get into a big argument, this is the best brewer as far as street cred in Wisconsin, Central Waters. The interesting thing is they're from a town of 1,000 people in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin. And what I mean by that is the closest population center that they're to is Green Bay, and they're an hour and a half due west. So they do have a drinking a tap room, if you will, in the Milwaukee area, but everything is made in Amherst, Wisconsin. The big reason this season is because they're known for their heartier beers. They have a lot of it, sustainability, all that stuff. And you can find out more of that at centralwaters.com. The big takeaway is their barley wine. So like the Dark Lord, the last Saturday in April, like their barley wine and their bourbon barrel stuff is what they are known for and what gets lauded because it transports really well and it ages really well. Like if you have Central Waters in your cellar, like you know what you're talking about because it's not the easiest to get beer. You can get it from Craft Shack or like Trading or anything like that. But again, it's a beer for everyone. That's what it says right on their website. But they've got like such a wide swath of like people that they go for. They understand that people, are just like going to be your Trotwood type people for Warp Wing or your Miller Lite people or whatever. Like they have that. But then they also have stuff like this that isn't offered all the time. This Cassian Sunset, again, I said it's coffee, vanilla beans with cinnamon added. That pepperiness or that spiciness, that hint of it, it's not so much a red hot, but that it just perks up and opens up your palate. Like without them saying cinnamon, I would say like a pepper or like not an herbaceousness because it's more of a spice, but a spiciness that awakens the senses or heightens the senses is what really opens up this beer. I wish I had an opportunity to get their barley wines. I wish that was something that was more readily available because how many times have we had a barley wine and really enjoyed it? It's a higher hit target with beer. Like it's tough because barley wines typically, if they're terrible, they don't make it to market. Mm-hmm. You'll have a bunch of other beers, we can name porters or Kolsch's or something that we don't care for. But barley wines, maybe it could be the alcohol content. It just, lowers the defenses and heightens the senses or the excitement, or a combination of the two. So off the top rope with that, I like everything that I've had from Central Waters. Chuggalos Seth, I'm trying to, the guy that I've alluded to that's had 8,300 beers, he's got a collection of their Brewers Reserve stuff. So I'm trying to hook up with him while I'm up here. Off the top rope, I give this a 4.25. Wow. It's just so delightful. And an 11.7, it's not a punishing beer in the respect that it doesn't taste like 11.7. You're having something higher grav, but not an 11.7 by any means.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, to piggyback on your barley wine discussion, I think you're right. It might be the entry level. It might be the entry point for the alcohol that turns people off. But I also think it's just not. It's not a popular. It's not a cool. What am I trying to say here? I mean, you got all these craft beer drinkers, and look, I'd say 50% of them are IPA drinkers. Like, are they well-rounded craft beer drinkers? No. There are categories here of people who just are like, I like craft beer. I like the craft of beer. I like all the types of beer. I'll try anything. And then there's people who are like, I drink IPAs or I drink stouts or whatever. And they very rarely deviate from that. And it's unfortunate. But barley wines, I would say, are probably, geez, what is a comparable thing to that? It's like, I don't know. You got all these baseball teams, and the barley wine is probably like the Tampa Rays. They just, if you like baseball, you've probably seen them. If you don't, you know nothing about them at all. And if you are a Rays fan, that's all you consume. So it's kind of like that's with barley wines. If you like craft beer, I don't know, trying to draw it in there.
For pulling that and not preparing, for pulling that metaphor, is it 100 or a 1-to-1 metaphor? No, but like having a 90% solution metaphor like that, and you just pulled it out of the ether, that's impressive, and that's a true gift, JT.
Well, thanks. I mean, I could develop it more. Like we like baseball, so we know who Ron Franco is.
Right.
And there are also baseball fans who are like their team, and they know that the Rays exist, barley wines exist, but they don't know who the players are. And then there are people who are just like, what is baseball?
I was already
Miller Lite drinkers.
I was already 2 weeks ago inside pool here. So just fast forward 30 seconds if you need to. But we are already talking. There was a couple of us that were already talking about difficult decisions.
Yeah.
Coming up for keepers, and Justin was talking. He's like, I'm 6 deep on my keepers, like
Yeah.
as a potential. Like for me, I'm like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So
I took pride in being the guy who got all the prospects.
yeah.
And that now they're way ahead of me. They must be less busy than I am. But yeah, I had a lot. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I have some decisions I got to make as well. But yeah, I'll talk about Sycamore here. Sycamore is out of North Carolina. And all you need to know about Sycamore is I think we've had one beer from Sycamore on the podcast. I don't remember 100%, but they're all about dogs. Their website says that they are powered by mountain candy and puppies. I'm not sure what mountain candy is. Is that some sort? I don't know what that means. What is mountain candy?
I don't know either.
But yeah, but dog.
We did have them on the podcast.
Because we love dogs in my house. Most of their merch, I would probably say that a good 50% of their merch that I see on the website is targeted towards the dog. That's a half of all their merch. I appreciate that. They got dog bibs, dog leashes, all kinds of stuff. So that's cool. I like that. Otherwise, I don't know a lot about Sycamore. When I was in North Carolina, I did not visit them. It looks like they're in Charlotte, though, so not in Asheville. But this is the can art boner segment. And geez, man, it's been a while. Who is even sponsoring the can art boner segment? Is this Chuggalo Nicole or Todd or can't remember at this point. But here it is. It's a gummy bear, and it is Sycamore has this leaf kind of background, and the gummy bear is the art. And then it says on the can, quote, "This beer's like gummy bears. This beer's like gummy bears." I don't know if this is a song or what. "This beer's like yummy gummy in my lucky tummy bears. Tropical citrus aromas and notes of 1,000 gummy bears tears." So gummy bears tears. Gummy bears tears. That's what they say. Now that's the can art boner segment. I was hoping that there would be some sort of like Harborough or Albanese style, just fruity hit, like a sugary. The thing about gummy bears is that they're not overly sugary unless you get the sour ones or whatever. They're kind of just it's just like it's like the seltzer of fruit candies. It's got the flavor in there, but it's more about the texture than anything else. And if you got weak teeth, don't eat gummy bears. I don't know if you're saying anything, if you're on mute, or your lips are just moving.
I'm trying to figure out where I had this beer. Like I checked into it at the park.
Oh, the park. Okay.
The park, but in Dayton.
The park.
It was one. Yeah, it was 21 December.
Oh, 21 December. That's my dad's birthday. And the vernal equinox, or the whatever the other one is. What's the opposite of vernal?
Yeah, I said Easy E, and there's 2 people I call Easy E that I know of.
Eric from NWA. Isn't his name Eric?
Yeah. One of the guys I know is Eric, but I don't think he provided me that beer. Anyways, now I feel bad. Less than 2 months ago. What's wrong with me?
I don't know what you gave it, but I feel like this beer is. So I'm gonna take this. I'm only using this word because I saw it, and it's not organic. So I wish it was, but I do feel like this beer has a freshness to it. It kind of pops with like a purity. I don't even know. Like when you drink, the difference between drinking like tap water and purified water, there's just like a crispness to this beer. But I think that's really the biggest positive. The gummy bear thing, again, with these gummy IPAs, I don't know what you need to do. Maybe there's somebody who's just tasting hops and is just like the expert at tasting fruity hops, like citrus hops and hops that are grown near a raspberry patch or something. I don't know, but like I just don't get the pop of gummy fruitiness that this should have. And again, gummy bears is difficult because it's a texture almost as much as it is a flavor.
Right.
So I don't even know why you'd use this, and this is not the first time we've seen this on a can. I don't know that I get the gummy thing. If there's some beer terminology that I'm totally missing here, maybe that's why they call it gummy. But largely, this is just an IPA. I do think that it has a freshness. It has that pure, clear. Like if I poured this out, I know it would be the color of an IPA, but I feel like it might be clear because of the way it tastes. It just tastes that way. But otherwise, it tastes like an IPA. It's a good IPA. It's not a great IPA. It's definitely not a bad IPA. I put this beer at a 3.5. It is a good beer with I will never remember, other than the can and getting burned by gummy again, I will never remember the taste of this beer.
I gave it a 3.25.
Wow, close. Look at that. We're very close on a lot of scores.
So I was going through my history because I'm trying to find out what I meant by the park, and I was at King's Table on Wednesday. Okay.
Oh, I went to King's Table. I want to say this. I went to King's Table on what day was it?
Cam Tots wasn't there. I know that for a fact.
She wasn't.
She just had her other hip replaced on the 2nd of January.
God, I don't remember what day it was. Maybe it was Wednesday or Thursday of last week.
That's my jam.
Of the times I've been there, their current tap list is the best I've ever seen. It almost, I would say 70% of the beers are beers I want to try.
They are so good at updating their Untapped, because if I get Untapped, it's a lot. It's 80% of any time they change out a keg.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it is just the whole list. There's been times I've gotten in there and I've struggled to find one.
Yeah.
That I haven't had one, and that I want to have. That's the second part. This time I could have had almost any beer on the menu. It's just if you're local to Dayton, I think right now is the perfect time to go to King's Table.
That's great. Thanks for that hot tip, as half the fucking podcast can't go to King's Table.
Hey, if you guys have come to Dayton or you pass through Ohio, shoot me a text or a call or a Facebook Messenger, and I will meet you at King's Table. I'll buy the first beer. I'll buy all the beers.
Well, fun story.
Like a crazy amount of drinking.
That segue is phenomenal about buying every beer.
All right.
I have a story to tell you and a sticking point that I want to bring up to all of the Chuggalos. So this last week, I was involved in things that weren't fun. So to go out and to let loose, I selected a few people that I wanted to spend the evening with, or a couple hours with. So we went to In-N-Out Burger, which is fantastic, by the way. Like
I didn't
something
know that in Minnesota.
No, I was in Texas last week.
Oh, okay.
Went to In-N-Out Burger. Yeah. And then everyone's like, hey, we want to drink. We kind of want to unwind and just shoot the breeze. So we went to a bar. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, I'm not going to allow, I've got the tab. So I was like, hey, I'm not going to allow anyone, whatever you guys want. I don't care. Order whatever. And it was like a kind of a roadhouse or whatever. So their beer selection was terrible. They only had like 2 craft beers that I'd never had. So most people wanted Yuengling, because I had already talked to a guy that I was like, hey, I live in Ohio, come up here quite a bit. I was like, I'll bring you Yuengling. Anyways, I'm all about relationships and, having that. And I do things, what I do for the people. So I'm already picking up the bill. So anyways, at the end of the night, I go and there's 5 of us. Mm-hmm. We didn't order food, and I went to the bar every time to grab the beers. So I was ordering or shots, but mostly beers. So I'm doing all of that. At the end of the night, they put a service charge for 5 people, no food, and I was grabbing all of the beer from the bar. An 18% service charge.
Damn.
So while you guys ruminate on that, my second beer that I stole from the office today was When Life Gives You Pink Lemons from Turning Point Brewing out of Bedford, Texas, which no one knows where Bedford is. Bedford is in the Dallas-Fort Worth megalopolis. And this is a fruited sour at 4.5%.
Excellent.
That's beer number 2. So, JT, what do you think about being charged a service charge when no service, I would argue, as a bartender, I was carrying the beers to the table, no service was being rendered. No food, no nothing.
It is absolutely atrocious. It is stupid. And I'm
5
sure
people.
They still had a tip line on there.
They did.
So you got to pay for the service and the tip. That's bullshit because you're there paying for the service. If you aren't charging enough for your beer and food, that's on you. Do not charge. Service is assumed. That is part of the deal when you go into some of these places. Are you supposed to serve your fucking self? Which you did, basically.
I did. So before people lose their panties, I had no problem. I paid the 18%. I didn't ask any questions. I tipped on top of that because I realized, hey,
I would have too.
But I'm gonna get my value out of it by bitching about it on the podcast. JT, what's beer number 2?
This is sour cone. I can show it while you talk. Artisan Brewworks sour cone. This is cherry flavored sour. They also have a grape version.
So I'm gonna assume this beer is from Chuggalo Katie up here, not Chuggalo Caterade, Chuggalo Katie up here in Minneapolis. I just happened to grab it because I knew I was one light coming into today's episode. But again, God, did it upset me. And don't lose your shit, Chuggalos. I paid the 18% and I tipped on top of that. Because again, I was like, hey, I'm gonna pay the tab for the night. And we talked about it in the Uber. On the Uber on the way to In-N-Out, by the way, 20 minutes long, 6 conspiracy theories. It was awesome.
Wow.
There's a reason I don't take Uber or do any of that stuff, but we're kind of a trapped population there.
There's a reason.
But,
because of conspiracy theories?
No, I'm just not a fan of. I don't have the app. I took 2 Ubers when I was down in Texas. But yeah, so like, God, when I'm carrying like a service fee on, and I would gladly, I come with an opener wherever I am. I'm going to be able to open beers. But again, with the population of people I was with, I was just excited to be there. I've picked up a couple of tabs. I know my wife doesn't listen, but I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't like the awkwardness of splitting tab, so like I'll just pick it up. In hindsight, it's like, oh, maybe I should just let it split or whatever. But sometimes it's just easier to pay it for me.
Yeah, I understand.
Because I just want to get the fuck out of places.
They appreciate it. You know, the people you're buying for appreciate it. Hopefully.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and so I don't like the service charge, and it's actually a convenient timing that you bring that up because right now there's backlash towards Airbnb because they who I've used. I think Airbnb and VRBO are very healthy competitors to the hotel industry. But and I've noticed this as well. They usually charge you a cleaning fee, but now they're charging you a cleaning fee and asking you to clean up before the cleaners come. And I was like, whoa. What the fuck am I paying for? And I think that people are, and there's evidence of this. People are profiting off of the cleaning fees. And so now you basically you're taking people like me out of the game. I'm not going to do that. Either I pay the cleaning fee or I clean. And I will do a good job at either one of those. I will pay the cleaning fee in full or I will clean really well. But I will not do both. I will clean up after myself.
It's like shipping fees for eBay. People will be like, it's $25. It costs $4 to ship the item. And they're pocketing it. JT and I have used VRBO before. For the first Bobo, we did it. That house was very bare bones. It supplied us for what we needed for the night. The cleaning fee was like $80. we didn't make a mess as 6 dudes. Like, and this is not like, I'm a neat freak. JT's a foot flusher. So we clean up after ourselves. Like, it's not like you have to, and I understand you have to disinfect but they're baselining that because, like, the next group of 6 guys comes through, totally trash the place, and their $75 cleaning fee doesn't cover it or whatever. So I understand that a little bit, but yeah, like you said, you're taking me out of the game. I'm in a hotel for the next few weeks. I'm going to let them come in maybe once a week. Like, I'll put my trash out in the hallway or stuff like that. Like, but I understand, JT and I are the minority. Like,
it's not, and like, it's not, I know that there's this like running joke of me being cheap, but like, it's not that I'm cheap. It's that the cleaning fees are increasing, and but there's specific rules about how you have to clean. If you've ever stayed in an Airbnb, you get this binder, or you get these laminated sheets usually that tell you the rules of the house, the Wi-Fi password, whatever. And like you and I, when we stayed in that Airbnb or the VRBO, it was like, oh, we're going to clean up after ourselves. We'd also do the whole thing where it's like, come on, man. You could hear someone saying, come on, man, from the kitchen, and they're cleaning up after other people. Like, we keep the shit clean, and we're going to leave with it clean. It's the fact that you, like, the cottage that we stayed in Gatlinburg with my family, the cleaning fee was $125, and there were no rules about it. They were like, you could leave the whole place fucked up. It's fine. We're good. Just don't break anything. Okay.
Yeah, that's still
but
not my style.
It's like, it's a $400 cleaning fee, and it has to be cleaned. The sheets have to be stripped and put in the closet, and the garbage has to be taken out and tied and all this other stuff. It's like, whoa. Like, I'm just going to check out. I'm not paying you and going to tie the garbage. It's because they're coming and doing it themselves, I think. And then now I haven't stayed at an Airbnb. This is all Twitter hearsay.
Next is we're going to be going to restaurants, and they're going to be asking us to bus our own tables.
Yeah, and then still pay a tip.
And then,
at some point, I keep tipping because I'm a gullible person for it, and I got guilted into it like everyone else in the early aughts and the teens, where they were like, everyone makes $3 an hour, so we have to tip. Okay, I'll tip. But at some point, I'm gonna be like, no more.
I feel guilty. JT and I are doing better than the average person. I understand. But when you come to either one of our houses, you're treated as such. Go downstairs, go to the carriage house, go, whatever. Like, don't make it, we're there to clean it up. So, like, I understand that we're doing better, and we tip as such. And, like, conversation, like, to me, like, I get my value, like, out of hearing, like, where you're from, why you do this, blah, 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 type that stuff. But, like, getting a little bit about the story, like, it's been a decade of us being friends, like, at bowling. How many times, like, and we treated those people so well, and we tipped them as such, because that was some of the relationship. And, honestly, we got better service because of it. Yeah, so definitely. I would just ask, be a human to those people. Be a human to the people that are serving you. And if you feel compelled to do that, great. But there are going to be times, and I give you my permission, and don't feel bad about it. If it's terrible service, treat it as such. Like, if you have a question or something like that, again, I had a service charge, and there was, besides opening the beer and keeping it, which should be added into the cost. Yeah. And we were there. The place was dead. Like, I was touch tuning like tunes and stuff like that, and everyone was like, read the room, and I'm playing like Metallica 1 or like just a bunch of staples on my touch tunes. Yeah. So I understand and I understand and appreciate that. But I was like passing around my phone. I was like, hey, I'll pay for the touch tunes. I don't care. Like, I'm not just paying for drinks. I'm paying for the environment too. I don't know.
I don't think you need to read the room. Metallica's fine. I think in Texas, if they can't handle it, I mean, geez, come on.
Yeah, there was 10 other customers in this 10 other customers in this bar that was bigger than King's Table and 20-foot ceilings.
Jeez.
And 10 other people.
And they're staying in business.
And then when we left, that's when the bouncers came out and stuff like that. So the bouncers were like making small talk with us, but it wasn't like, elbows and assholes. Like, there was 30 people when we left.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, we didn't get food.
They don't.
Crazy.
Texas, they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear it. They want to hear about trucks, beer, guitars, whatever. I don't know.
Conspiracy theories.
I want to hear about these conspiracy theories, but country music has evolved into something completely weird. It's unrecognizable.
Can I list off the conspiracy theories real quick?
I would love to hear them.
I don't want to explore them. So in a 20-minute taxi ride, I know I said 6, but I can do 5 really quick.
All right.
COVID came from snakes into the U.S. that were shipped to Wuhan.
What?
Alkaline water cures cancer or prevents cancer from happening. Flat Earth. NASA isn't real. And the 91st Brigade, which the essential in the 1920s or during World War I, but 1920s, she said, which made me sus. This commander, every time the 91st Brigade went into battle, he read Psalms 91, which I don't even know if that's a real book, and they had 0 combat deaths.
Okay.
So there was another one. There was another one though, because I know it was 6 and the joke was 6, but I just told you guys 5. But the fact that, flat Earth and NASA doesn't exist, and they were separate thoughts, they didn't build on each other. So that was the 5 of 6, but I knew it was 6. I just forget.
Yeah.
Which one the 6th one was.
I've not heard the snakes one. That's interesting.
Yeah, snakes. COVID was developed in snakes that were sent to Wuhan.
Okay.
In the U.S.
In the U.S. Okay.
In the U.S. Yeah.
So that's like so far removed from like a logical conspiracy, like a conspiracy that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if I cut out or not. Someone was calling.
No, it was fine. That was the first time you actually just cut out.
All right, cool.
So back to the beer, because that's what we're here. When life gives you pink lemons from Turning Point Brewing out of Bedford, Texas. 4.5. Again, this is delightful. This is, if you love pink lemonade, this is absolutely your beer. This is a fucking home run. I'm guessing by the information I know, this came from, again, Chuggalo Katie, who I've bequeathed a lot of beers to, so I'm hoping she won't be upset that I just lifted this one. This is 100% pink lemonade without having the effervescence. When I first had it, I was burping a lot, so I apologize for that. It doesn't make for a great pod. This is 100% pink lemonade, like country time lemonade and beer mixed. It nails it. I don't know their secret, but on delivering on their concept, it was fantastic. I don't know how you could have it with ice, and ice would be ice cold. I had it out here while the central waters was room temping, but this is absolutely delightful. Off the top rope, 4.75. If you're gonna have a gimmick beer, don't be adding like marshmallows and everything to it. Deliver on the gimmick. And this 100%, sorry, Stacey, delivers on the gimmick. 4.75. Wow,
that is excellent review. I feel like we're almost drinking the same beer, but mine's not pink lemonade. So this sour cone by Artisan Brewworks. Artisan Brewworks. The only thing you need to know about Artisan Brewworks is that they are famously the brewery who produced the Warheads beer.
The Warheads, yeah, out in New York.
Yes, exactly, out of New York. And this, and I'll let me find what city they're from. Let's see, are from
not Watertown.
Saratoga Springs, New York. Saratoga Springs, New York, and they produce a lot of the Warheads beer. Now, I had a bunch of the Warheads beer. I think maybe the red and the blue, and I was like, yeah, pass. But this, and maybe it's, I'm starting to see a theme with these watercolor backgrounds here.
Like Untitled Art is a big one. Or not, Humble Forger. Humble Forger. Yeah.
You get this watercolor background, and all of a sudden your beer is just like fucking awesome. And that is a tie between can art and the actual taste of the beer. I am actually making that link, which we haven't done yet. The can art boner segment. This is a snow cone that has been turned upside down into somebody's hands. I'd like to say a gentleman, but it could be not, could be a woman. And they have some forearm tattoos, some more traditional type tattoos that you'd see in like, World War II era, or just you go into a tattoo shop and there's all these things on the wall, these images on the wall, and they're tattoo examples, but you're not supposed to get those. By the way, if you are inexperienced in tattoos, you're not supposed to get the things that are on the wall. Those are just there for decoration. But people get them, and this person did, get some writing in a ribbon, get a dragon, whatever. Your traditional tattoos. And then there's a ice cream truck on the bottom, which I only can assume to be a snow cone truck. If you live in Ohio and your children play baseball, particularly summer tournaments, and this is rec or select, doesn't matter. I've been to both sides, and at every tournament there is a what is that tropical? What's the snow cone thing that we have here in Ohio?
I don't know.
I can't remember. Oh, ice. It's something ice. I'll think of it. It's gonna kill me. Anyway, there's always blank ... ice truck at all of these tournaments, and you can get your they sell you a cup. It's $5, and if you bring that cup back to each other tournament, then you get the next one and every subsequent snow cone for like $2 or something. So kind of a good deal, and the cup changes colors when it gets cold. God, what is that thing called? I can't remember. Something ice. But anyway, this beer, I will say, is not like a snow cone. I've had snow cones at these baseball tournaments.
This beer is not.
But this is everything the Warheads beer wishes it was. And I feel comfortable saying that because it's not a slight to the brewer, because the same brewery made this beer. This is a phenomenal cherry sour beer. This beer is, and I feel like I'm even missing some of this beer because I had an IPA right before I had this one.
You screwed it up, JT. We talked about this.
I had to decide what was I going to do, and I feel like if I would have had this cherry beer first, and there was gummy flavor in that Sycamore beer, I would have missed it.
Sorry, Stacy.
But there wasn't gummy flavor in there, so it doesn't matter. But this beer is very good. It is just south of sour. I think it's fruity and it's light, totally drinkable. It does have some, I think it has lactose in it, milk sugar. So it does have kind of that thickness that coats the tongue, but oddly enough, it's not in the viscosity. It's still a very light beer when you drink it, very watery, like liquidy beer. Man, the cherry is exactly what you'd want it to be, at least in a candy style. It's not cherry like we would have in a cocktail, a traditional real cherry. It's candy cherry candy. And this is like, it nails it. It is so good. Let me take one more sip before I figure out my score here.
Is it almost medicine-y, like when you say it's not like cherry candy, but like...
I could see that maybe somebody who doesn't like cherry might say that. Like it's.
But I like that, like, that almost like... Holy shit, it just started like fucking snow here. Like it's incredible. Like just out of nowhere. Like that's what attracted my attention. Just fucking downpour of snow.
I would say it's more like, I think if I was to pick something, it would be like a Jolly Rancher.
Okay.
Do you think a Jolly Rancher has like a cough syrup type?
No, it's just concentrated.
Yeah, it is very concentrated. This is a very concentrated cherry, and I didn't swirl this or spin it or whatever. Yeah, this beer is excellent. I'm glad I bought a 4-pack of this. 5.0. This beer's awesome.
Wow.
This beer's awesome. It is really awesome. Kudos to Artisan Brewworks, because I really lost a lot in the Warheads beers. Like, they're good. They're definitely, they sell you on sour, but I don't think that I don't even remember my thoughts. And that tells you what you need to know about those Warheads beers. But this is amazing. Now I got to go back and get the grape one.
Oh, cheer! You picked the right one, I think, to have.
I think I did, yeah. But I think I'm gonna go get the grape one. Try it. Unless someone beats me to it, because they didn't have many left.
Did that one come from Halls also?
Yeah. Now I have a couple beers that I was gifted, because pretty much every beer I've had for the past year has not been purchased by me. But Chuggalos Phil got me one of them for Christmas, and I want to make sure that he's around for it. And then so I went to Halls and got some of this. And man, their selection is it's the perfect amount now. I remember being overwhelmed last time, but this time I feel like it was the perfect amount.
Is that you? So has it? Because I haven't been there in 2 months now. Is it because it's shrinking, or because now you're you know where to look?
Well, yeah, there's a couple. I know that there's a couple piles. That's really the only way to describe it. Of commons like Warped Wing, Yellow Springs, common local stuff for us. And I'm not going to go get those. I'll look through the Yellow Springs to see if they have anything new, and the Warped Wing. But mostly it's stuff I've seen before. And then they've consolidated, or at least they've organized the stouts, the single bottle stouts.
Yeah.
And they're all on the far side now. They used to be on the second aisle. They're on the far side, and they're all on one shelf in perfect, organized manner. And so it's easy to just be like, oh, boom, 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 boom. I don't want those. I'm going to move on. So before it was like, oh, there's a single bottle here. Oh, there's one over here. And then, oh, there's the $40 450 Norths. They're organized, much more organized than they were before. I was in and out in 20 minutes.
I can't wait to see, because I went up here a couple of weeks ago, a store I wasn't familiar at 45 minutes I spent there,
yeah,
I think I said that on 219, but
they don't organize by brewer, which I'm not sure yet how I want beer to be organized. I still haven't figured out my preference, but Arrow, they do it by brewer, and I find that that's pretty good, because I could skip over pretty large swaths of beer that I know I'm not going to like or not interested in.
So my discount liquor does it by region.
Okay.
So if it's, but just for Wisconsin. But then after that, it does it by highly sought after beers, and then it does it by brewer.
Okay.
So all of the brewery, BRUE, all the stuff, the stuff with punts, and the bombers. I know all where that section is, but it's also next to Cascade Brewing. Cascade Brewing does a lot of the one-off sours, and so I know where everything is there. It's just developing that familiarity. They do it right. All those liquor stores, they organize it by their customers, their repeat customers, not the drive-by customers or the people that only shop there 3 or 4 times a year and spend $400 each time. I'm not that guy.
You can tell that even with Halls. Now, Halls, in case you're wondering, as a follow-up, they do not organize. Other than the new organization of the stouts, of the one bottle stouts, which I saw, you have to look at every beer because they're way out.
They want you to.
It's crazy. And that's good. That's a good.
And Pat's going to come over and talk to you the whole time.
Exactly. If he's there, he'll talk to you. He was not there when I went. But the guy who was there was nice. But that is a good segue, because one thing I did notice at Halls, this is the one point I wanted to ask you about, was I finally saw my first barrel-aged seltzer. And in beer, I never thought this. But with seltzer, now I'm thinking, this is not for the seltzer fan. This is because, in my opinion, the seltzer makers are bored.
Interesting.
I think that they are this is boring to me. Let's spice it up. Let's barrel age some shit. What do you think?
I think that when it's barrel aged, that implies that it's amping up the alcohol content. Is is the alcohol content the same?
I wish I would have looked harder at it. It was just a bourbon barrel aged hard seltzer. And I don't know. Let me look it up real quick. See if I can find it.
I can carry it while you look it up. I like seltzers, but I'm a seltzer snob. Not all seltzers are created equal. And I like the like high noons. I will go out and order a high noon. That's like a vodka soda, so it's a little bit different than a seltzer. There is value and freshness and not having that guilt. I prefer deep dish pizza, but I don't eat a lot of it because I don't like having that guilt. That's the thing when you go out and you're having a good time with educated beer drinkers, or if you're just having a good time, you want to drink those beers, but you have to pace yourself not because the alcohol content, because you have a way home and you're being responsible and all that. It's the fullness. I'm on the backside of 30. If I had this brain and I was, or of my 30s, if I had this brain and it was a decade ago, I wouldn't care. I would just drink IPAs all night. But it's just that fullness and that uncomfortableness because I
don't want to interrupt.
No, that's fine. I was just carrying it till you did the research.
I can't say that this is the one, but
yeah.
I do remember Goose Island being close. And there is a Goose Island bourbon barrel hard seltzer, and it is 6%. So I don't know what a normal seltzer is, with 4 or 5%.
It's 4 to 6.
Okay.
So like if it was like 8% or something, I would say that. So
yeah.
If they are imparting that barrel age, that heavier gravity, like that complication of flavors and stuff like that, good on them for delivering it at an ABV price point that people are used to, like that 4 to 6 realm.
Yeah. There are other ones on here. I've never heard of some of these. This one's 8%. Whiskey barrel aged Manhattan seltzer.
Yeah, so it's a Manhattan. It's
probably whiskey in there already.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So like you're imparting like a craft liquor or something. Like those are becoming like craft cocktails. Cocktails in a can, like old fashions and stuff like that. That's something we've talked about that before, like things that were on the horizon.
Yeah. So I noticed that and I thought this is probably I think there's some motivated brewers behind that, like saying this is boring to me. I'm not sure how a seltzer is made, but I like the innovation. I just think, all right, let's just call it what it is and just go back to beer. I don't think the seltzer drinkers want that anyway. Do they want bourbon barrel aged seltzer?
I mean, I like it all. Just make a quality product. I'll beer, seltzers, like.
Yeah, but I don't think of you as like just like a seltzer drinker. You're more of just like a connoisseur of good drinks or interesting drinks. Whereas there are people who are like
interesting is
I drink seltzers. Like that's not. I drink beer. That's my drink of choice. If I'm not drinking beer, I'm probably drinking bourbon or whiskey. That's it.
Like tonight after this podcast, I'm going to go drink Grain Belt Premium probably for the entire night. So like good, interesting, like that's a good product. Like it just is. But like, the places I'm going or whatever, like they don't have a beer selection, but I'm there for the atmosphere ?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, but yeah. So you're like knocking on the door of all of that.
But like there are people who are like, if I'm not drinking seltzers, I'm not drinking. That's a different crew. They don't want bourbon barrel aged anything.
Oh, they don't want that stuff though.
But anyway, figured I'd bring that up, ask you about it.
God, there's what a Werther's original of tasty Dolce that is.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. That just doesn't sound good at all. It tastes like, I feel like you just taste bourbon, which I guess is the point.
Yeah, if you can deliver a light bourbon like that, I don't know. Is it just like a really watered down bourbon? I don't know. Now I'm curious.
I didn't know this, but there are people who just drink bourbon and waters.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was even a drink.
Scotch and soda, scotch and water. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean just like straight up water. Yeah. Soda, fine. Yeah, like I get that, but bourbon, like a shot of bourbon and a full glass of water. I don't know. That just doesn't seem appealing to me. But it's a drink.
Bunch of weird, people that pour salt into their Miller Lite.
All right.
A lot of salt too, not just like take a salt shaker.
He's up on the salt.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. That's all I
Crazy
got.
stuff.
Fantastic beer, by the way. You can get it.
It's nice that Artisinal came through on something, because those Warhead beers, like, I sought after for a long time.
Yeah.
So now this year, 2023 is Treehouse. I have to have a Treehouse.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's my hint, or my haunt for this year, because there's so many other places that I've heard of, and I've been able, with Pliny and Perennial and all the big guys, but Treehouse.
All the big
guys. I will
guys.
get you.
I'll get you. You will. You'll get it. Anyway, that's 220. I don't know. You got anything else? That's it.
No.
Good.
Got the episode title. We're good to go.
Oh, heck yeah. I can't wait to hear it. That's it. Yeah. That's episode 220. Thanks for joining us. And we will see you next week, regardless of whether or not we have both of us. There will be a video. I promise.
There will be.
I promise. That's it. Bye, everyone.
Bye.